It's important to acknowledge the original caretakers of the land that the University of Washington stands on. The coastal Salish peoples occupied this land before it was taken from them by the settlers of Seattle and this region. We thank them for taking care of this land and acknowledge their continued presence in our midst.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leanna Muski. I'm a family physician and I'm the Associate Dean for Admissions at the University of Washington School of Medicine. I'm an E96 graduate of the Montana WWAMI program, and I'm thrilled to be able to introduce you to the many exciting and varied opportunities that await you here at UW. My role here is primarily the oversight of the admissions process, which includes the application, the interview, and the selection by the admissions committee. This introduction is designed to give you a better understanding of who we are, from the history of WWAMI to the leaders of innovation on the cutting edge of research. We hope you will better understand why the UW is a top-ranked medical school and how your medical journey could begin here. You will learn about our curriculum, what makes it unique, and how it works across a 5-state region, and how we adapt to the ever-changing world and world of medicine. We will help you understand what WWAMI, which stands for Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho, is all about, and how our mission guides us to excellence in training in rural, underserved, and tertiary care settings. You'll also learn our approach to equity, diversity, and inclusion, and about our commitment to ensuring that all students feel welcome and supported in finding their community. We'll introduce you to the new Health Sciences Education Building, scheduled to open in May 2022. We are very excited about this new facility. It will feature flexible, high-tech learning spaces, including computer simulation, mock treatment labs, and remote learning spaces. It will create a hub for the health sciences schools to foster interaction, collaboration, and cutting-edge learning. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, you'll hear from some of our students. You'll get to hear about some of their experiences and how the WWAMI program is serving them on their unique path into medicine.
The University of Washington School of Medicine was founded in 1946, so we're quickly coming up on our 75th anniversary, which is really exciting. The school started the WWAMI program in the early 1970s. This is a collaboration between the states of Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho. The first 4 states were Washington, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho, with Wyoming joining us in 1996. And the idea behind this was really to be able to provide publicly supported medical education across the Northwest without increasing the cost of training the future physician workforce for the region. I do think the UW School of Medicine is a very special place and very unique. We do cover 3 time zones, 5 states. U.S. News and World Report has ranked University of Washington School of Medicine #1 in primary care. We've also been highly ranked in family medicine and rural medicine by U.S. News and World Report. And I really feel that comes from the mission of our school. Our UW Medicine's mission is to improve the health of the public, and the mission of the School of Medicine is to provide a physician workforce to be able to improve the health of the public.
I think it's important to address healthcare equity, particularly as our country becomes more diverse and we become aware of the large and persistent and prevalent healthcare disparities that are impacting communities of color. I think it's very important that we make our workforce more diverse, that we study these issues and learn how to best address them so that we can have better health outcomes for all of us, for everyone that's included in our communities. Diversity and equity is a priority at the University of Washington School of Medicine. We value diversity in all its forms, and that includes things like race, ethnicity, language, background, sexual orientation, gender identification, religion, and many other ways. The school is changing, like our region is changing. It's becoming more diverse. I think that's an important consideration if you're a student from an underrepresented background.
We've tried to do several things with our curriculum that I'm really excited about. One of the things that we've done is to really allow students to have authentic clinical experiences early on in their curriculum. So even while they're learning all of the basic science, they're also in clinics, they're in the hospitals, they're seeing patients, they're taking histories, doing physical examinations, working with physicians. You know, it's not just abstract concepts, but it's really the foundations of what they're using to take care of patients. All of our students will do clinical clerkships throughout the 5-state WWAMI region. This allows our students to have the experience of working in very different settings, working at a major trauma center like Harborview, working in a small rural clinic in one of the rural areas of the Northwest. It gives students the opportunity to work with people that are different than them. It's a great diversity in our region of many types, and it gives students the ability to work one-on-one with lots of different types of preceptors.
I'm the rural dean for the School of Medicine, which means that I help find places for students to go who are invested in doing rural medicine or who could become invested in doing rural medicine. We have 3 programs that are designed for getting students introduced to rural medicine, and those are Trust, RUOP, and Right. The goals that I'd have for the rural programs would be to create an environment where people can see the value of rural medicine and can serve the needs of our vastly rural area here in the WWAMI region.
The UW School of Medicine is training the next wave of scientists to be innovators. We offer advanced scientific training toward academic graduate degrees as well as postdoctoral training in biomedical research. UW Medicine ranks among the top academic research institutions to receive National Institutes of Health funding. Our faculty includes many members of the National Academy of Sciences, the National Academy of Medicine, and the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, as well as recipients of the Nobel Prize, Gardner, Lasker, and Shaw Awards.
I came to study at the University of Washington a few years ago, 1978, but who's doing the math? And I came primarily because of the my interest in pursuing primary care and becoming a family physician. The University of Washington is known very highly for its commitment and for its training in primary care. Student Affairs is an amazing resource for students. It has grown and has become such an important part of a student's life. From the time I was a medical student to now, we have increased our services tremendously. We offer free mental health counseling for our students, financial aid counseling, career advising, service learning opportunities, and much more. We are a place where students who are meeting any kind of challenge, be it personal or professional, can come to our offices, and together we can help navigate whatever the student is dealing with.
I'm in charge of, or I oversee rather, service learning. I love service learning because it encompasses DEI work, diversity, equity, and inclusion work, student-led. We get to support all of the WWAMI students in working with creating projects that they come up with and working with different communities to really talk about social determinants of health. I also oversee the Wellness Council. The most important part, or my favorite part, is building relationships. You know, it's in order to support anyone, you really have to have that kind of one-on-one relationship, building of trust, and having them understand that everything that I do is really to help them achieve their goal of becoming a physician.
In my role in student affairs, I really get to know individual students, and I'm always really impressed with the diversity of the student body. Everyone's got their unique story, and it becomes part of their journey. We aim to support students from the day they enter medical school. We try to meet them at orientation. We try to support them through their preclinical training and then through their clerkships. They have to make some big decisions along the way, and we try to make that decision-making process as smooth as possible.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily Cooper and I'm a third, soon to be fourth year medical student at UW, and I was at the Spokane campus for the foundations phase, and then I was also a Spokane track student for my third year. I came to UW, I was really interested in primary care, and I knew I would be supported in that goal here at UW. And I also was really interested in training in Spokane, and here we're really invested in the community. There's a lot of service projects that are available to you, and then there's also the health pathways, which I highly recommend. And the training here is also really excellent. We get a lot of clinical training in rural, academic, and kind of mid-size city environments, and those will prepare you very well for residency.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Devaraju and I'm a first-year medical student in the Spokane cohort. My favorite thing about the UW is the pass-fail grading that we have in our preclinical phase of the curriculum. This allows for a more collaborative, friendly learning environment during a time that's already stressful. This means that you'll have the opportunity to do research, get involved in community health service projects, or just have time to do personal hobbies or spend time with your family. My other favorite thing about the UW is that we have 6 foundation sites across the region. This means that you'll be a part of a smaller classroom environment, which is more intimate. You'll get to know your faculty members well as your peers, and you still get the perks of being affiliated to a big research institution like the UW. The other advantage of this is that if you find that your interests change in the first 2 years of med school, or even the first 3, that you will have the opportunities and connections to get to where it is that you want to be before you apply for residency.
My name is Dr. Jeff Jones, and I'm the Assistant Clinical Dean for Eastern and Central Washington. I'm a family physician up in Newport, Washington, and a 1996 graduate of the University of Washington School of Medicine. In this role with the UW, I help coordinate the admissions process here in Spokane, and then I develop and support clinical training during your clinical years in Eastern and Central Washington outside of Spokane. In this video, Dr. Bill Sayers and I will be giving you a brief overview of our program here in Spokane. We'll highlight the things that separate us from other medical schools. We'll emphasize what makes Spokane and GU unique, and it's not just the better college basketball teams.
My name is Bill Sayers. It's my great pleasure to give you an introduction to the University of Washington Foundations of Medicine curriculum, as well as give you a taste of the educational environment here in Spokane. As Spokane Foundations Assistant Dean, my job is to oversee what used to be called the preclinical curriculum, but which now incorporates substantial clinical training. Our relatively short 18-month basic science curriculum is intense and thematically integrated. What you buy with this intensity is an early start to clinical clerkships, and this gives you greater access to elective specialty training, which helps your careers. Specific to the Spokane campus, you will be taught by 14 to 16 core faculty, primarily actively practicing clinicians, but also our terrific anatomist, Zach Gallagher, and our pharmacologist, Jason Bouillard. We bring in content experts when helpful, such as practicing pathologists and subspecialists. With a core group of teachers, our faculty are more accountable for their teaching and will get to know each of you, which of course will increase your accountability for learning. As clinicians, our faculty can draw a direct line from learning objectives to clinical practice. I might add that many of us also precept UW medical students in our practices and in the hospital. So what sort of help can you expect through this 18-month intensity? UW in general, and Spokane in particular, have terrific academic counseling. Most of you, I suspect, would never have thought to use academic counseling. But consider this. Our academic counselor, John Hammermeister, who also happens to have the best name ever, primarily works with high-achieving individuals such as professional athletes. We have on-site professional counseling and, importantly, a solid mental health counseling service both through Gonzaga and then the School of Medicine. Most important to your success will be your fellow students. We believe that the student community is a critical part of learning and the development of professionalism.
As you move from foundations into your clinical training years, there are a few things that make us unique. First of all, we have an incredible selection of clinical training sites. You can do rotations in smaller communities like Newport, medium-sized cities like Spokane, and also the quaternary care centers in Seattle. All of these rotations are exceptional, and at no other medical school can you get this wide of a variety in clinical training sites. You can literally go from Newport to Harborview. We also have a variety of training styles. In addition to the classic rotating clerkships, we have tracks that are based in a single state or city, like the Idaho track or the Spokane and Wenatchee tracks. We have our right longitudinal training rotations that are 22 to 24 weeks, typically in smaller rural communities, but you need to know that you will be doing some traveling in your clinical years. Even with our tracks, you will not be able to spend all of your clinical time in a single site, and we still require 8 weeks in Seattle during your clinical years. We are able to make accommodations for students with disabilities and families. Our fourth year Explore and Focus rotations are also plentiful and varied. You're allowed to do away rotations during this time, but unlike many other medical schools, we have ample fourth-year rotations even within our own system and are not dependent upon other institutions to provide these rotations. I appreciate this clinical training seems a daunting task, but we work hard to make sure that you are supported in all the clinical sites. Our top priority is student safety and well-being, and we have systems in place to support you during this time. And even though this seems like a long ways off, it'll be here sooner than you think. I hope we have answered at least some of your questions and have given you an overview of what really makes the GU site unique. We think we have a good thing going here and look forward to seeing you in the future.
I'd really like to thank you for taking time to learn more about the University of Washington School of Medicine and the WWAMI program. While I hope we'll get to meet in person sometime in the coming months, if you have any further questions or need additional information, you can always reach out to the admissions office at askuwsom@uw.edu. We hope the information shared was useful and inspires you to seriously consider joining us here at UW when you set out onto your path into medicine. Take care, stay safe, and be well.